different perspective.
That's the point of what we were saying earlier, where when I do some highlighting with a newcomer sponsee, and then 2 years up the road I'm with another newcomer sponsee, I'm doing some highlighting, all of a sudden it changes again, because I see it starts to open up again, more stuff. So just take it easy, keep it simple.
Hi, my name is Emma, I'm an addict.
Hi.
I must have read the basic text, step 1, maybe hundreds of times, but I mean, I've been 7 months clean now, but I've been
Well done.
thank you, for nearly 2 years. It took me 1.5 years to understand the bit where it says social acceptance doesn't equal to recovery. And just because I didn't understand that sentence, I mean, I'm running a successful business, you know. I mean, come on, I'm okay. And I kept relapsing for 1.5 years. The longest I could keep clean was 3 months. And my life turned into hell. So it just took me 1.5 years to understand one sentence and stay clean. You know, so you're not alone. And this happens to every single one of us. And another thing that in my experience is like with self-centeredness. Now, what the hell does that mean? I mean, for God's sake, you know. I mean, I speak Turkish, I speak English, I can understand both languages perfectly. I would look up in the dictionary, we do like extensive research on the internet. Finally, until one day, one experienced member shared in a meeting saying that, well, you actually think that you should have the way in metro or in underground, and you hate everybody just for being that. That is self-centeredness. So speak to experienced members and tell them that you don't understand. They might actually be better than any dictionary in my experience. Thank you.
Thank you. Kieran.
Thank you.
Kieran.
Yes, my experience, I'm Kieran, I'm an addict.
Hi, Kieran.
Great stuff, guys. I didn't even embark on this book until I was about 4 years clean, because, like Frankie mentioned earlier, it's not really highly known in the fellowship unless you go to work this while, like in workshops. There is an order to the bookwork, really, and you start with the basic text. It's a basic. That's why it's got the word basic and the word text. It means it's, you know, right at the beginning, and it's something you study. And then we go on to more books like the Green and Gold. Because my sponsor Peter knew this book inside out. He was part of the committee that developed the Step Working Guide. So I knew from years ago that they were something that was worked together. But he said to me, go and read the basic text. Because I said, I don't understand you, we'll go and read the basic text. And then read that again. You know, I didn't, unfortunately, I didn't have, it's like Leicester's the important thing that Leicester said, I didn't have someone to sit down and read it. He wouldn't do it, he kept sending me away. But we read it in our home group. We started to read it together, and we started to all share about it. And then I understood the basic text. And then I started to understand the Green and Gold a bit more, because the basic text is written a little bit more simpler for me to understand. So, I don't know, perhaps read the basic text and then come back to this book. But you know, I'm not your sponsor, I can't guide you, but it's just a suggestion for me. I went back to the basic text, read that a bit more. And some of the mothership stuff, which understood, that helped me understand the basic text a bit more. So, you know, it was all a process for me to go at the beginning, reading through the books, and now getting to this one.
Yeah, can I just
go on.
Thanks. I just want to participate and add to the meeting, because and you mentioned the mother test. As I was going to copy the book Alcoholics Anonymous by a well-meaning member of Alcoholics Anonymous, it might as well have been written in fucking Latin. No, also about 10 years, but I had 10 years of an expensive education as well, and not being able to understand things. People saying to me, what's wrong with you, what's the matter with you, etc. Now the book Alcoholics Anonymous says, you know, we took inventory, we identified shortcomings, we identified people that we harm. So basically, from my own experience, that not being able to understand things of falling asleep or whatever, it's like that's a symptom of a resentment or a fear or an envy or a jealousy or a better than or a less than, or laziness, or selfishness, or dishonesty, and that to actually remove the blocks and to actually sit down with somebody else. You know, when I did that for now, I went through all through my life, whether I've been resentful, fearful, selfish, dishonest, etc. The inventory that removed the blocks. And what I found is that because I had 10 years of coming to meetings, and my life did improve, even though I never did the steps, I listened to a lot. and it was all going in, but then suddenly when I did inventory properly, I suddenly started remembering things, it all came back. So I think the mind, it does go in, but based on it's like an index, and we can, when we remove the blocks, then we can get to the index. But that's what I would be saying, not just. Look, you can say to me, just give it time, it takes time, that's my experience, but like, you might be alive in 18 months, but how many other people, you give them 18 months without doing the work, without taking inventory, without making amends, without writing others, you know, they're dead, right?
See, that becomes a bone of contention. I hear what you're saying, but for me that becomes a bone of contention because he kind of has a similar thing to what this lady had here, and that is we're clouded. We can't smash through it. It's really working. The inventory that you've just set out is built on your experience because you have the time and the experience of doing all this. It's a little bit like when the gentleman says, you know, we sound like gurus because at the moment we're trying to take it easy, keep it simple. And that's I think what happens to a lot of us. I think that's why we originated.
Can I just say, sorry, Lizzie, when I first got here I was so panic-stricken to get out of where I'd been that I was just like, and also this less than thing is like, I ain't going to do it right. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, I do not understand this. Because I've always been shit before, my life has been shit, and I've never succeeded at anything. Why? You know, this is too much, it's overwhelming, and the kind of panic to be able to be good and do something. And all I can say to you, sorry, what's your name again? Khalil, hi. All I can say is, if you apply this little, the colours, the highlighting, it will make it much easier. If you can maybe get a little group of your mates together and maybe sit down and do it, whatever, you know. But
we're going to go to Dave, and then Lizzie's going to be secretary again. So just wanted to say to you guys as I end up, these cards at the end of the meeting, feel free to take them. And any of these badges, if any left. The idea of the card, I tried to get the printer to get it so it would fit inside the book, but to trim it a bit more, they wanted a lot more money, so. So you just have to put up with it. If you take something, you just have to put up with it that way. Dave?
Yeah, Dave had it. Like you, like Frankie, and like a couple other people said, it's my 10th year in the fellowship, and I'm not 10 years clean. It took me 7.5 years of your stuff, what you just shared, and I tried so hard. I've done everything what was suggested. I tried it, and I just couldn't get it. You know, we couldn't get it. And I think that was it. I was just trying so fucking hard. You know, but I think it says somewhere in the literature, because I'm not great on the literature, so I'm like, you can't think I went out of the paper bag pretty much. So if I'm really trying to think through my game, why can't I fucking get this? I'm going to just hit that brick wall. So I think it's what people say is give yourself a break. So breathe and say, if I can't do it, what can?
I'm not gonna lie to you, man, like right now, man, I'm fucking petrified of hitting crack again. I know what you're saying, like when you talk about like blazing the zoo, having a little drink, like I know for a fact, like I wouldn't go to that first anymore because I've done it untold amount of times. I know straight away the second I take that one pull on a bike, on a spliff, oh, this is fucking shit. I've done it so many times now, I just think, fuck that, I'll just go straight there. And I don't want to fucking die today, you know what I mean? I don't fucking state me, you know what I mean? Like, fucking, I feel awful.
But before I hand over to Lizzie, because what happens is we turn into a room full of cancers and try to work a problem out.
Yeah.
You know, I can only say, because I'll share my little bit of experience, because I want to put my tuppence worth in, because I'm fired up, because I want to help and assist like a lot of us addicts. We all want to rescue someone. You know, that's why I love that analogy around always make sure you put on your oxygen mask first before you help anyone else. I love that one, you know. And you know, learn about the stuff before you try and fix someone else, you know. I had a similar thing, and my similar thing was I had to do, in my 90 and 90, I did 280 in 90, and I did, I did coffee shop recovery. I lived and breathed NA, because if I stepped out of all these crazy people who talk bollocks, I was around people who were shoplifting, who were going to get some gear, who was on a mission, all those words, you know. and I had to change my whole vocabulary. I had to stop saying things like gear and tackle. I had to own it for what it was. I had to say heroin, cocaine, crack. You know, I had to identify what it was. So I realised I lied to me, and that's the thing with the honesty. Lizzie, do you want to open up for a? Put you in charge. I want to go a we, but you're in charge.
Well, okay, so it's kind of been open already, hasn't it? But yeah, so I open up the meeting. Anybody that wishes to share or their experience about working through the books.
I'm Kieran, I'm Maddie.
Hi.
Oh, by the way, Kieran,